Welcome, dogs. Get your goggles, get your tightest Lycra tri-suit, put on those compression socks. Why be good at one sport if you can be shit at three? This is the Triathlon Mockery podcast. Yes, my dogs, we're back in the game and it's been a while. I'm starting to wonder whether it's really all the Brits are the same, you know. It's been 3 weeks since an episode, but Maxi, here we are, like, what was going on?
Mate, I was here, there, everywhere, upside down, didn't know what time zone I was in, sick. But you know what? I'm back for the dogs, and I'm sorry, guys, but we'll be back on regular scheduling from now on.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot promise. It's like we're having a toxic relationship with the listener. You know, it's like, I'll be back, maybe next week. I don't know. So
Scene at 17:52.
Yeah, see, I can see you're online. Why are you not posting up a podcast? I can see you posting a story on Instagram, Tomo Sadiq.
Yeah, guys. You just have to wait and see. That's part of the excitement of the podcast. You never know what you're going to get.
Do you like toxic relationships?
I think they're all right for a couple months, but you know, you can't let that shit go on too long.
They do make you feel alive, don't they?
You do feel like you're driving like a car with like a broken engine and you're just full gas in sixth gear on the highway and you don't know when it could explode.
Yeah, that's why people like to listen to the podcast and not to like generic stuff, because, you know, everything that's generic is just like there's already a lot of it. So sometimes you just want that excitement, that toxic relation.
You just want that outlet.
And how was it? How's the trip been? Any highs and lows?
Oh man, obviously the highs were, you know, I always like going to Japan, you know, but it's a high and a low in itself, because you get to Japan, you love it for about a week, and then you start to fucking hate it. You know, you're like, this place is driving me insane.
Why do you start to hate it?
Because the rules, man. It's like Germany on crack. You know, it's like, yeah. Like, and for them, it's like there's no option, yes, no, or maybe. You know, it's like black and white. And if the room is available at 3 p.m. and you get there at 2 p.m. and the room's been available all day, they won't let you in till 3:00. You know, and there's no amount of negotiation that you can do. It's no, you know. And it's like that just goes through the whole of society, you know. So after, you know, a bit of a wild dog like me, after a week, I start to get itchy, mate. I want to break some rules, you know.
What, for example, was a rule that you really struggled with, or like a situation that you were like, I can't handle this? Because how does it impact your life? Like, what decision we're talking about?
Okay, so just I'll give you an example. Okay, this just reflects, like, you can apply this to the whole of society, right? So after the race, after Yokohama, we went for an hour and a half easy spin. And, you know, as in Europe or everywhere else, you ride two abreast, you know, like you chat to your mates, you're having a good time, post-race, just relaxing. And then we hear this guy screaming from behind us on a bike, like, ah, ah, ah. And they're like, oh, he wants to ride with us, you know, like we'll wait for him, you know. So we kind of slow down and he comes up to us. He's like, guys, you need to ride single file. and then we were like, oh, okay. And then he just rode off. And I was like, what just happened? You know, like I thought you wanted to like ride with us. And he said it with like a smile on his face, you know. So he comes up to us and he's like, ruins our ride. And he's like, ride single file, and then sprints away. And I was like, what?
It's that's why Japan is so well organized, isn't it? Everyone's just so
yeah. I mean,
books.
They buy the book, but like, I think when you've lived somewhere like Spain or even anywhere else, you're just like, man, like relax. You know, you just want to
look at, for example, how Spain is organized. You know, everyone goes there for a holiday because it's like a relaxation to the max, but it's not like properly organized.
I've been in Italy now for like a week, and I can definitely see why the Netherlands and Germany pays for these countries.
Yeah,
man, they're just like at the cafe all day, sipping espresso, just riding Vespas. Like no one's really doing any work, and you're like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Thing is, if you're, for example, let's say, just like me, you're renovating a house, or you need to do, I don't know, whatever stuff with the government, In Japan, it's just really well organized. They would probably say you'll get a reply in 3 to 5 business days or in 2 to 6 weeks. I don't know. They probably will get back to you ASAP. And in Spain, you're probably thinking like after 4 or 5 weeks, like what's going on? You call them and they're like, "¿Qué pasa, amigo?" And they say, "Oh, no clue." Like nobody probably has a clue. So it's all about the organization. But I do know that in Japan, it's their culture, to be
Yeah, yeah,
flipping
yeah.
organized and polite. And the country's also very clean, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is an incredible place. Anyone who hasn't been to Japan, it's like it's the only place that's like that in the world. You know, like they have all their own brands, all their own car brands, all their own tea. Like it's all Japanese, Japanese, Japanese. You know, they've had like basically no kind of Western invasion. You know, apart from like obviously McDonald's and whatever, but the way they do society is still very, very Japanese, and
Yeah,
it's a really cool place to visit. You know, but I think like yeah, like I said, after like a couple of weeks, you start to realize like you're really a foreigner, you know what I mean?
everyone's a bit too polite.
Yeah, you're kind of like, man, tell me to piss off, you know, like
Yeah,
be
they want.
toxic with me.
Yeah, being toxic. Okay, yeah, it's cool though. How did and the race went well, didn't it?
Yeah, I had another good top 12 result, so it pushed me up to sixth in the standings. So yeah, I
So
mean,
our
fuck.
little Maxi is now sixth in the world.
Some would say, how the fuck did I get here? But no, I'm pretty happy, obviously. So the rest of the year will just be about defending the top 10, defending the position in the world ranking, and yeah, seeing where I can finish. And obviously,
what
it's a
what
yeah.
happens if you get that top 10? Like what does change?
What wouldn't happen, man? Everything would happen. No, nothing. I think it's just like a good personal ambition, you know, to say, oh, I finished top 10 in the world in 2025, you know, and then obviously you build on it for the next year. But I think there'd be a big dirty party in Australia going down.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Especially because it's in my hometown, the grand final, you know?
But would you be able to get closer to that Olympic qualification for the I don't know how that works, but
Yeah, I mean, it's still quite far out. We're still like 3 years out. But I guess for me, I have a vision of like, okay, if I finish top 10 or even top 12 in the world this year, then the next year I'll try to finish top 8. And the
yeah,
next year I'll try to finish, I don't know, top 6. And then obviously, if you're always doing those results, then you're kind of putting yourself in a position to be selected, right?
yeah.
So that's kind of my rough plan. But, you know, with Olympic selection, you never know, man. You know how these things go. It could be based on the wind direction or whatever, you know. So you just have to do as many good
Politics.
results as you can, you know.
Only in Japan that would be fair.
Yeah, in Japan they would stick to the rules.
In the Netherlands and JB, they would go with a little toxic trait, like you're in the team, you're in the team, and then a week before, plans changed.
Ooh, I don't like you anymore.
And what was the low then of the last couple of weeks? Okay,
Oh man, I got sick as a dog for like a week, and I think the whole race hotel got sick. Like all the Americans were sick, all the Brits were sick, everyone in the hotel, the Germans were sick. I think there was something going around our hotel, like some sort of Asian superbug, man, because we got hammered. I got hammered, man. I haven't been that sick in so long.
yeah.
Yeah, it was weird, like just nose, and you just don't feel right, you know?
What about throwing up and stuff like that?
Nah, no throwing up, but just like all nasal. And I thought it was COVID. I did 2 or 3 COVID tests, and
And also very like feverish.
yeah, a bit. Yeah, it was weird. It was really weird. It was really weird. I think like when you travel that much and there's so much shit going around, and obviously in the races you have some people coming from China, coming from all these different places. Then it
Yeah,
spreads so quickly with the athletes, you know. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
What about you? Any highs and lows? What have you been up to? Renovating.
Um, well, there's two big events now that are happening in my life. Of course, one is setting up the business, which is just taking up is basically an 8 to 6 job. And of course, you don't hear me complaining, but it's just very different than how I was regulating my life beforehand. So starting the business doesn't make me any money, not up until like at least a year. Actually I need to reinvest at the end of the month, And the way I make the money at the moment is by coaching athletes. So I also like I just work an awful lot at the moment. And on as a cherry on the cake, I've also bought a house like 2 months ago that needs like complete renovation, which I'm doing a lot of myself just to save money. So with all these occasions in my life, mate, I'm just getting hardly any training in, and I've just been whenever I've been training, I've just been feeling very anxious, and I can only do like a training session as a workout, as in how do you call it, like as a work, as a form of like relaxation, but not a training session as in a scheduled sessions where you need to do interval sessions. Just something as you want to exercise to get your mind at things, as a form of
Yeah.
so I don't know. I'm just really at the moment thinking like if you want to do things good in life, you need to like focus, don't you? And I'm just thinking about like the Ironman in Copenhagen, whether it's like going to be worthwhile for me to even uh, compete or like be in the mix with. I cannot at the moment by far call myself a professional because I'm like literally working all the time, and I'm not doing myself any justice. I've literally been hardly getting any training in, so I'm talking like 10 hours a week for now, and I'm not talking for 1 week, but I'm talking for like consecutive weeks in a row, and that's just so super stressful. So yeah, I got to make a decision, and I mean, as a listener of the show, if you listen to the show, you can always give me a little advice what you would do. But in the end, yeah, I'd rather get this thing right. And actually, Gona's going really well. We literally almost sold out. Like over the last 2 weeks, it went really well. We've only got 20 packages left, 20 as of this morning, which isn't a lot. So I reckon we would sell out like tomorrow or the day after. And then the reorder is coming in like 2 or 3 weeks. But the MOQ is going to be double than from the first order. So that's like an extra investment. And then finally, we got like a second product. So we had like the sampling process. I've started a retail plan. So I went to like certain retailers in the Netherlands, but I've also been approached by a retail group in Miami, which I think is pretty cool. But
Wow.
he just liked it. He's a listener of the show, by the way, and he said it would be really awesome to be like an exclusive seller in Miami. And of course, that's not the big bucks, because it's just like, I don't know, maybe $50, just maybe less, maybe more, I don't know, but it's more like, I think it's cool. I can use it for branding or whatever.
Yeah. Well, just to have a footprint elsewhere, it's quite
Exactly.
cool.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's more about the focus, and it's also made me think over the last couple of weeks, like, you really need to have your life in order, and you really need to be extremely disciplined as an age grouper. And I already saw it from 4 guys that I coach in Amsterdam. They've got quite a busy job, and they're doing Ironman Hamburg this weekend. Um, that triathlon just takes over your life if you've got a full-time job. You gotta get up really early, and you just gotta work all day, and then you're coming back and you gotta train again. And especially if you like yeah, really focused on getting like a good result, and want to like really focus on
Yeah.
the sport, and you just can't handle any extra stress. It's just really um yeah,
High pressure.
guiding your life.
No, yeah, 100%. And I think like obviously as a professional, I have to be extremely disciplined to extract the most out of my
Yeah,
body
yeah,
24/7. But it is a whole different type of discipline to do it with a job and with other occupations,
yeah,
because you're constantly thinking like, okay, how do I get the most training in? How do I extract the most time out of the little performance out of the little time I have? And yeah, I see it as well with me. Like when I have some uni on and stuff, like even if it's just an hour a day of having to do university, I'm just like, fuck, I don't have the bandwidth, I don't have the energy for this, So no, I get what you're saying, and I mean, for your case, trying to train for an Ironman with all you've got going on is Complicated to say the least, and
Yeah, it is. It is
optimistic.
complicated, but it's going to be a phase. I just hope that the house is going to settle down in like 3-4 months, and then I'll just pick new goals. But it's also I'm not going to say that's over, by the way. But I'm just going to set different goals, and also it's going to be different than the life I had previously as a professional. And one thing that I've always that I'm struggling now with, that I didn't have in the past, and it's something that every pro athlete has, and that's the insane motivation that you need to have to get the best out of yourself every day, and not asking any questions. There's this in the plan, and just doing it, no questions asked. And you got to be extremely disciplined as well. And I'm super disciplined, but as soon as you lack motivation, or as soon as you start to question yourself, what am I doing it for? And if you've got your focus or mindset set on something else, then you don't have that mindset anymore, and that motivation anymore, that what it takes to do the flipping sessions. And for example, the rain, the 10 degrees rain kind of long rides, or whatever, when you need to dig deep, when you're tired. And yeah, that's just a fact.
Yeah, there you go. That's true. But yeah, again, respect to all the age groupers out there.
Yeah. It's hard, but I'm in Hamburg, baby, and I'm going there this weekend as well.
You're gonna go check it out.
Sorry.
You're gonna go check it out.
Yeah, because I've like worked really close with them for a
Yeah,
year, and also because I don't know, I just like it. I like to see him go well, and I want to support them. And I remember what
yeah,
my first Ironman was like, and how hard I trained for that. And
yeah.
it's only like,
Hamburg's a cool place as well, man. I think Hamburg is honestly one of my favorite cities. Like, obviously, we get to race on the World Series there, but like Hamburg is just, it's just cool, man. Like, it's a nice city, good coffee, good shops. Like the
yeah,
race location's cool. You swim in the Ulster. It's like iconic, So I can't wait for Hamburg. Obviously, it's not my next race; it's the one after in July. But
yeah.
like, man, I like Hamburg for me. It's like the one, man. I fucking love Hamburg.
It is.
And then you can go out to the Ripperbahn after the race.
Yeah. That's always where all the athletes go, don't they? For the
Yeah,
massage.
iconic. A massage and a kebab.
What? So this weekend you've got WTS in Italy.
Yeah. So the third leg of the World Series in Sardinia, in a place called Alghero. It actually looks beautiful. It's northwest Sardinia.
Is that a new race?
Yeah, it's a new course, new race. I think it's quite tight streets, cobbles, up and down. So it's going to be nice and technical. Beach swim. But yeah, I'm excited to just try to continue what I've been doing this year. The field's obviously stacked as always, full of hitters.
Was it stacked in Japan?
Yeah. I mean, now these days the races, like, you've barely got anyone missing ever. I mean, the only reason that Hayden and Alex aren't there is because obviously Alex is focusing on some running, and
Yeah.
Hayden unfortunately got injured. But apart from that, everyone else is there. Leo was there, Hauser was there, Vilasa was there.
Damn.
Everyone else who was in the
Yeah.
top 10 in the Olympics was there. So I think now gone are the days of the easy races.
Yeah.
Like 5-6 years ago, you could kind of pick and choose. You could kind of weasel your way through some results. But now it's like, even like the Pro Series and the Ironman, or like even just like a standard Ironman or challenge championship, you've got hitters. Like, you can't just, I'll go there and just podium. So yeah, it's the level is getting higher and higher and higher, and people are getting more dialed. But for sure, the World Series level now, I mean, it's insane. Like, just to give you an idea, on the bike, I did 360 normalized.
Yeah.
And then I ran around like a 30, 40, if you adjust it for wind and length, of course. And then Hauser ran like 29:10, So you're looking at, like, now to win these things, like, you're looking at having to run nearly.
How do you mean if you adjust it to wind and length, of course?
Well, the course was too long. The course was 150 meters long.
Okay.
So you got to subtract that speed. And then there was crazy gale force winds. I mean, did you see the race? It was fucking ridiculous. It was like racing in a hurricane.
No.
Man, it was like we woke up
And
on the
how
morning of
can you, so how do you measure the wind and then the time, and then because maybe then I've got a quicker 10K as well, because it was pretty windy that day.
well, you can, yeah. I mean, you get metrics on like wind speed and direction, and then if you just account it for the amount of times you spend in the headwind, you can subtract a few seconds per k. And then obviously the wet, you go slower in the wet because you're going slower around the corners, and you got less grip on the ground. Like there's things like that, you know. So yeah,
Is
you're looking to adjust
was
sometimes.
wasn't that one time the bullshit buster
What was the bullshit buster? You go slower in the wind.
that, like, a 10K, for example, a 10K race, or there was this one time that oh yeah, I remember this one time that he did like a half in Barcelona, and he ran like a crazy time. Like, it was already like flipping fast. But then he used the time on the watch that measured like 21.2 or 21.3 Ks. And then he said, so I came through the 21 Ks in, so half marathon time, let's say, I don't know, it was like 105 or something. But then it was like a proper, what was it, like World Athletics race,
Yeah, yeah,
right? There's
yeah,
always
yeah,
like
yeah.
a GPS measured course. So you cannot, you got to take the time, what's in the end at the clock, and not the one
Yeah,
that's on
yeah,
the
yeah.
watch.
No, for
Same
sure.
for if you're running on the track, 1,000 meters is 1,000 meters. And if that watch goes off 5 seconds before the end of the line, then that is it's
Yeah.
not your 1K split, mate.
Yeah, no, but yeah, so that's the next one. And then Font Remo for 6 weeks, locked in monk mode.
6 weeks font remote?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow. How are
Yeah,
you
just
going to deal with that?
it's not an issue for me, man. It's my pleasure. I
Yeah?
love it. Yeah, I love it, man. Especially like this year, all the boys are going to be up there. Like you've got all like Chase and the whole of his group, and then you have, I think the Australians are going to be there. Kenji, the Japanese guy, is going to be there. Like a
Yeah.
lot of my friends. So it's basically just going to be like the boys at altitude, just having a good time.
Huh. Okay. And are you also going to do a lot of long rides?
Yeah, probably gonna create. I mean, it's the camp that's kind of going to set me up for the rest of the year. Like you do 6 weeks up at altitude, and you don't only get the benefit like in the immediate drop down. You get the
Yeah.
benefit for like 2 or 3 months. Because you obviously built your hemoglobin mass and your hematocrit and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah, probably some long stuff. Why you want to do a long ride?
Oh, you better enjoy it, mate. Like, if I think back about my times with Font Remo, with my former podcaster, it's just good times. The times that you don't have to think about something else and just training, and you're waking up, and you don't have to like wake up to fucking text emails or think like I need to do this or that. I need to call him or her. I don't know. Yeah, it's stress in a different way. It's only stress of hoping you're not waking up too fatigued and hoping that you crack good sessions.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
but it's I don't know. Thinking back, it's just the best time of my life, really. That you just can train all day, and that you have the motivation. And the best thing is what you have now is train with your friends. That's
yeah, yeah.
absolute golden, that you can have a good squad of mates, and you come back for a ride. You sit down at a cafe and you drink some cappuccino with a nice little baguette.
Go to the
Fucking hell, who's
bakery, get
gonna
a
hurt
fat
you in
flan.
life? There's
Yeah.
there's no toxic relationship that can level out that amount of joy.
Yeah, the toxicity disappears in Font Romeu, guys.
So
No,
you're going
yeah,
for 6 weeks. That is
yeah,
a lot, man. That is a
yeah,
lot.
yeah, 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 and locked in that little room. Have you seen the rooms before?
Oh, you're staying at the campus there.
Yeah, staying up at the campus. Yeah,
Wow. Why would you do that?
train the mind, man. Just train the mind.
Okay, guys, for
Nah.
everyone that doesn't know, at the campus, the rooms, it's like a prison. Like, it's very small. It's very, very, very old. It's like Germany in the 1940s or something when they built everything. Why when you stay in town where you've got like a little town, because it's also outside of town, like a K and a half.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just I'm pretty lazy, So like they cook for you and they clean and stuff. So I don't have to cook. I can just train and like come back to my room and watch some YouTube and sleep and
Is the food inclusive?
yeah.
Is it good?
No.
No. Why would you do that?
I don't know, man. You know, I'm a simple guy. I'm an easy guy. All I need is my bike and my boys, and it's all good. You know, like I just like being there. I like the atmosphere. It's full of elite athletes. You know, in the center, like you have like world record holders in the pool, then you have world record holders on the track. You have like cycling teams up there, and for me, it's like it's what I always dreamt of doing. You know, so it's not like
It
it's
does
not
get
hard.
busier every year, doesn't it?
Yeah,
In
man, this year's
Fondremo.
crazy. This year to get a lane reservation was almost impossible.
Oh, you do the reservations beforehand?
Yeah. I reserve everything
Or
beforehand.
do you
Yeah,
do it yourself? Or does the federation do it?
I fly solo, baby.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
big dog.
big
But
dog.
I remember the first year that the first time, it's also the last time that I went to Fondremo. It was already getting more popular. But I remember who was it first? Was it like Christian and Gustav going there already?
Yeah. But I
Or
mean,
was
The French always went there. You know, the French have
the
been going
French?
there for years. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
but then
yeah,
obviously Christian and Gustav were going more and more, and then like other groups decided to go up, and then all of a sudden everyone and their dogs up there. You know.
yeah, yeah. Because there's just, if you compare it to like other places where you can go to altitude, for example, Sierra Nevada. Sierra Nevada is flipping boring. You're just sitting on a massive mountain, and
Yeah.
there's nothing there. You can see it in the depressing videos of Gustav and Christian. You know, I can't even believe, like, even when I was with two fists deep down in motivation, I wouldn't be able to train 6 hours on a mountain on a turbo in the snow, or ride up and ride down the mountain in the snow. You know, that is
No,
just
the worst thing they do
ridiculous.
is they do their easy ride around the 400-meter track, 90 minutes around the track. Like, man, fucking hell.
I,
Like, come
I would
on.
just say it might be better off to just take some rest, but they're proving me wrong.
No, but Fondremo is good because you actually have like you can actually go places. You know, like you're on a mountain, but you can go down to the lake. You can go down to Puseda. You can go up to Andorra. Like you can do different things. You know, and you know
I
that pool in the summer is like triathlon Tinder, man. You know the amount of people that are just like going around the pool.
I did had a funny story about it, but I can tell you afterwards.
Did you have a Fondremo love story?
No, it's not a fun remote love story.
Oh,
Uh,
what is it?
it's a bit more on the toxic side. um, Let me think. You had a funny story, you said, from your trip.
Yeah. So bringing it back to Japan, the listeners know that we love a sauna battle. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was carrying my heat prep from Abu Dhabi into the race, and I needed to go to the sauna every day for 20 to 30 minutes. But what I didn't realize is in Japan, it's a naked only policy in the
Let's go.
sauna. Huh?
Why in the summer? Yeah, I said, let's go. You know, that's you flipping Brits are prude, mate.
Anyway, so I get in there in my swimmers because I'm like, I'm not fucking getting my dick out, you know, like screw
Why?
that, you
What's
know.
wrong?
Wow,
Adam and Eve,
man,
baby.
because it's not necessary, man. Like I don't want to just walk with my Johnson out, you know. Like anyway, so I'm sat in the friggin' in the sauna, surrounded like literally by like 7 old Japanese guys, man. And this one guy comes, gets in, steps over me with his cock out, slots his legs either side of my body. So I've effectively got his package right behind the back of my head. And
Really?
I'm
He
like,
had his legs
yeah,
beside.
Because
Wow.
it was like a step, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And I was sitting on the lower step and they would sit behind me like that. And I'm like, and the guy goes, you have to be in here naked. And I'm like, oh, no, man, like chill, you know, like I don't. And he's like, there's no women in here. Why does it matter anyway?
Yeah.
I was like, dude, just leave me alone. They were like harassing me to get naked. And I was like, fucking hell.
It's the rule.
It's the rules, man.
But it is I don't get why Brits get so upset about it, you know? Yes, they're having the schlong out, but you don't have to touch it, you know? It's literally also you could see it from the other side. If you're sitting in there with your swim trunks, the chloride will evaporate in the air and you will like sniff it in. And it's even more disgusting when people have their underwear on, because there's like, I don't know,
Ah,
maybe deep down in the cotton, some urine woven into it and other stuff that then goes into the sauna, so it's way cleaner if you would just go fully nude. And you can take a fresh towel, you can cover that little Johnny up. But I don't know. It's also more of a freeing experience. When I went to Austria with Joe, we went to like this German sauna, and we didn't know how busy it was going to be, because we literally just came in and made that thing was rammed, absolutely rammed, and I'm talking like 100 naked people in there, and it's but it's an experience, it's a cult. It's yeah, I think once you've pushed yourself over that barrier of freeing the mind and also freeing the willy,
Free Willy.
um, then then you can enjoy the sauna to like a next extent.
Yeah, I guess so. Fair enough. Uh, Maybe I'll try it next time. I'll come to the Netherlands and Free Willy with you.
Is Japanese other saunas always separated?
Yeah, yeah. Male and female fully separate. Yeah, yeah. Like the whole change room spa area was like male and female.
In the Netherlands, you even walk around. So in between the saunas, yes, you can have a little towel around. But when you're going, for example, into like a bubble bath or into like under the showers, you're always fully naked.
Men and women mixed.
Men and women mixed. Yeah, it's like a peep show.
Oh man. Why would people pay to go to the red light district in Amsterdam then? Surely you just go to the sauna.
Because you go to the sauna for the sauna, and you go to the red light districts for different reasons, not for naked women. Um, but yeah,
Fuck.
it's yeah, a totally different culture.
Yeah, yeah, obviously. So you wanted to talk about
Of
the enhanced
let's
games.
let's start let's start first with a little voice memo. In the last podcast, I've asked everyone people to send in like a little voice memo, and I had one from the listeners, and let's go over to his question, Maxi.
Hey, Tom and Max. Donald from Belfast here with a question for your listener section. I'm just wondering how you guys recommend beating the post-race blues. I've got Ironman Hamburg coming up, which will be my fourth and probably my final Ironman. And I've always got the blues after every Ironman I've ever done. Just that transition of having such a pure focus for something and then reverting back to just being the average guy at work or the useless boyfriend. Any tips would be welcome. Can't all have mozzarella's endless positivity. Enjoying the pod. Keep it up.
Alrighty, so my man is suffering from the post-race blues.
Well, first of all, I want to say you're not just another guy at work, and you're not a useless boyfriend. You're a fucking legend. So don't ever don't let the negative self talk get in. First of all, that's step number one. You're a good bloke. Number
Yeah,
one.
that's the essence of standing in front of the finish line. That you know that I'm not an average dude. I'm a flipping Iron Man, or
I'm an
I'm
Iron Man.
becoming an Iron Man.
Yeah.
But the
But
post-race blues.
second of all, I think the best way to beat it, I think, is it sounds cliche, but is to always, even if it's
Is to sign up for a new Iron Man.
yeah, just keep going, just keep rolling. No, but in a way, I think just keep like, even if obviously an Ironman is such a massive goal that you work for months and months and months, and you have in your head and you aspire to achieve great things. Even just penciling in like a park run 3 weeks down the line or 2 weeks down the line gives you something to keep rolling for. It keeps you something to get you out the door and go for that run or go for that Zwift session, because obviously going from everything to nothing will inevitably make you feel a bit down, because then all of a sudden you've kind of lost your purpose. But if you kind of set intermediate goals that are kind of not as important and physically challenging, then it'll kind of keep you engaged in a way. And most importantly, just do it for yourself, man. Like, who cares what everyone else thinks? Like, if it makes you happy, flip and do it, man. Like, that's what I'd say.
But just the motivation for a 5K run, if you're coming off an Ironman, you don't really have to train for a 5K run. You're going to finish it anyway. But I know a little bit where he's coming from. As in, I remember in the past when I signed up for this. So, for example, you had this Ironman race, and when it was done and you had like a good result, you just want to get on the beers and relax, and then you need to set a new goal. And sometimes the goals aren't always as clear, and it isn't always like, and it's also a political game because you need to like massage that new goal in, maybe with your partner or with your friends. And I'm also curious to see now from the front line how my mates this weekend after Ironman Hamburg are going to handle the post race blues, because they said we're only going to do one Ironman. Now, I think 90% of the listeners started with saying that. Um, so I'm also curious, like, how are they going to handle once you had like the endorphins kick from the finish line, and then thinking like, is this going to be my new identity, or what am I going to do?
Yeah, I mean, I've never done an Ironman, so I can't comment. But yeah, I guess I'm fortunate in a way that, like, because I guess it is my job, whatever you want to say. Like, I'm constantly, as soon as the race finishes, for example, in Japan, I'm straight on the turbo, cherry juice, like thinking about the next race. So
Yeah, cherry
I
juice.
cherry juice, yeah, get that antioxidants in, man. So like, I'm doing my full warm down protocol. I'm doing the debrief, I'm doing the massage, and all of a sudden it's 5 hours after the race, and I'm eating dinner and going to bed. Like, I don't
Yeah, but
even.
I think pro athletes are. I don't think they know this feeling because they're like architects. You're like a machine, extremely wired with multiple goals. You
Yeah,
feed your motivation of a goal that's like 4 years from now, like in the future. You don't see Sardinia as a big goal, yet you take it serious as well, but it's not the main goal. It's like you've got a line that you ultimately want to go to the Olympics, and no matter what, you will stay motivated. But can you imagine that, for example, the Olympics is next week, and after that, like, it ends, like there's nothing new for a long time, and your end goal is there. Like, what are you going to flip and do?
go to the sauna.
And also, once you started to get out of that rhythm, that's what I see right now. Okay, people feed well off rhythm, of like structure. That's the word I
Yeah,
always looking for, of structure. And
yeah.
as soon as like that Ironman is done, and you want to go to, like, I don't know, relaxation, whatever you're doing, but a bit off that schedule, so you're unstructured for a while. As soon as you get used to that, then it's really hard to like yeah. So our conclusion: sign up for a new Ironman, or this is what I always like. I like to treat myself, now that now we were going over a little bit about toxic trait. I like to teach my to handle myself a little bit toxic. So what I do is, after a race, I completely let myself go. I always gain weight. I get very unfit, and then I always do this little the comeback story. I like to see progression. I
Yeah,
feed up
yeah.
quick progression, so then you can get back into like that beastie rhythm again. That's what I like to do. So just let yourself go for a little bit. See yourself, just if you see yourself in the mirror at some point, you're thinking like, oh, where's that Armang boy gone? He's like, that has been a long time. And then you sign up for a new one, and you become that Rocky Balboa again, that you wake up and you're eating raw eggs and you're getting on the trainer at 5 a.m. That's what I'm going to do, probably like in November or October. I'm just gonna make a sick age grouper comeback in I don't know, in May next year or whatever, and then grind in the winter, as a Rocky Balboa before and after work.
Yeah, I do agree. I do like that. Like, after a race, I mean, for me, it's different, but you go out a bit, you have a couple of days off, and then you go to Font-Romeu, and I'm just looking at myself in the mirror, just losing weight. Like, yeah, man, I'm looking lean, bro. I'm looking lean.
But you gotta have that progression, if that's what I like, the road too, the road too.
Yeah, 100%,
And
100%.
one thing that I still, that's why I've always think that I've taken the age grouper mindset always to when I was racing as a pro. Um, a real professional races literally from the beginning of the year till the end of the year, and there's no fucking around in between. There's like no vacations in between, or there's no rest periods, or there's no recovery,
Yeah,
and there's recovery as in like an easy week, but it's always like a build the whole year through, and it's so hard to keep that build going for a long time. And that's like a mental tiredness what you need to be able to handle.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. I think, to be honest, uh, you're probably better suited to answer this question, because me, I'm just kind of like, I love it so much. I'm full gas all year. And for me,
Yeah,
like that, I'm just a bit, I guess I've just turned myself into a bit of a robot,
yeah,
I don't know. It's weird. Like even me, just when I'm thinking about the off season, I'm planning like a cycling trip in Thailand with my mates. We're just going to ride like 200K a day,
yeah.
So for me, it's
And
just like,
in the first 3 years when I was in age group, I was like that. Like I was literally only thinking about triathlon. Like I only wanted to train. I only wanted to train, and I could do anything, as in like training wise. Um, and then at some point, you also, as soon as you start to throw in a little bit of reason in there, like, especially
I'm
if it's
crazy.
reason, especially if it's not your job, like you're not earning money for it, or then sometimes you need to shift priorities, because there's also other stuff in life what is important.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. But I guess for me as well, it's different because like all
It
my
is,
friends are in there. Like,
dude. Yeah, it is.
my whole life, it's like, yeah, it's weird. Like I live in this weird bubble, but like you said, it's good to extract yourself
Yeah,
sometimes and to
and also
think,
you've been growing up in triathlon. That's
yeah,
you were born.
I'm indoctrinated.
No, but you've been doing it all your life, and if
Yeah.
it's different. For example, his name, if I'm not mistaken, was Dan. Thanks, Dan, by the way, for your voice note. So anyone else, if you have a question, send them in through voice memo.
Yeah.
But he's got a family, because he said he's a husband. He's got kids. Man, I cannot even think what it's like if you've got kids. He's got a job. And he's probably got friends outside of triathlon. There's just so many balls what you need to juggle.
Good on you, Dan. Thanks for the message, man. Really appreciate it.
All
And
right,
good luck in Hamburg. Smash it.
you wanted to go, and I'll see you in Hamburg. I will see you. So if any dogs are out there in Hamburg this weekend, send me a message. Maybe we can do a little post race beer.
Tom will
Or
have a bag full of Ghana he's just going to be throwing out into the crowd.
I'll throw something around. What was the bullshit buster?
I saw a certain professional athlete who, it's a very good liaison to what we were just talking about, being able to disconnect and just relax and take time for yourself and take time for your loved ones. But this pro's not able to do that, obviously. He brought his turbo onto a cruise ship, and he has been training every day while on a holiday with his girlfriend. So again, each to their own, if that's what floats your boat. But for me, I just think, man, if you're going on a holiday, just go on the bloody
So
holiday.
he's going on a little cruise, and he's riding on the trainer. He's got this elastic band to his ankles, and he's swimming in the pool like an endless pool, what everyone was doing during COVID. When they got all paranoid, they were losing their swim skills. And then he's running and everything. He's running around a 200-meter track on the. Yeah, you could do a little exercise every day, in the gym, or on a treadmill there, or on that 200-meter track. But riding every day on the turbo, or riding on the turbo on Swift, and also like the endless pool kind of feeling is a bit OTT, isn't it?
Yeah, I definitely agree. It might be a bit over the top, man.
But
Not
he's
gonna
a
lie.
he's a really good professional though, and I'm starting to wonder how the conversations went with. I think he got lured into this trip, like he had to.
Yeah, I think it's something that was booked for like a year, and it was like a non-negotiable, man. I
If you're
don't give
not
a
going with me, you'll be single.
shit. 100%. You like me now?
Yeah,
If you don't come on this cruise, we won't.
yeah.
There won't be any us. There won't be any us.
I booked it in the middle of your season to see
Just toxic.
just to see what your priorities are. I think that's what it is. It's a test. It's a test.
Yeah, it could be. I would not be surprised.
Because otherwise, you could do a cruise in November or December.
Yeah, no, I agree for sure. There's people are cruising all year, man. I see people cruising all year.
But what do you think? Did he pass the test? Because he did go on the cruise, but he's still training every day. So what does he value slash prioritize more?
um, I think he's still going to get a grilling for sure.
Yeah.
Like, go back to her mates and say he brought his turbo on the cruise.
He did not. He did not bring his turbo on the cruise.
Yeah, he did, and he did 3 hours every day.
Wow, that is so selfish. What did I wanted to say about this? Oh, that is, I remember in the past, I couldn't let it go. So when I was going on a holiday, I was still thinking about and wanting to train and training every day.
Yeah,
And that and it's especially for age groupers that you need to watch out that you're not going to do certain things and look back and think like I did everything half. Meaning, if you go on a holiday, enjoy a fucking holiday. Unless you're like a professional, you can fuck around on a turbo. I think it's still bullshit buster. But if you go on a holiday, just go on a holiday, you know. And yes, you can run, you can do whatever. But if your missus wants to do something fun, and you said, yeah, but I want to do an easy 3 hour ride, get the hell out of here with that 3 hour ride. You know, it's Mrs. time now, or it is husband time, whatever. It's time for the relationship and that vacation, like to get your mind off things. And if you're always, I remember when I was going over my parents. So my parents live 2 hours from here. I was going over there for the weekend, for example. And I was only busy with training every day. So I know I've got to do. I'm doing a 5 hour ride tomorrow, and then I'm doing a run off the bike. And I was sitting on the couch and I was tired. And then I would go home and afterwards think like, what time did I actually spend with my mom, or what time did I actually spend with my dad? I was only busy with myself. And to a certain extent, of course, that's not a problem, but you need to watch out that you're not always, uh, um, yeah, busy with that triathlon thing and not enjoying the moment that you have.
yeah, for sure. Agree.
That is Dutchy, mate. So
Yeah.
he's going to be on that cruise, and maybe he's going to look back 5 years and then think, was it really necessary? Couldn't I just relax for 1 week? Just do like an hour run every day? That's it?
No.
No, no, it was the right decision.
What kind of question is that?
Yeah. So, dogs, if you want to send in a new question of the week, you can always send in that voice memo. Don't forget. For now, this was the episode for this week, and we'll be back with a new episode next week, or at least I will be there, and I'll see if my co-host is able.
I'll be there, guys. Trust me.
If he will toxically treat me. All right, cheers, mate. Have a good one.
See you, man.